si se uma. Hu si se uma.
Hello and welcome to the final podcast, the last podcast you will ever listen to.
Good grief, Shaney Brown. We're your final bros. Brian Hopper LaGrasta and Shane, I must be sitting on a leaf because I'm an Acorn Smith. And we're getting Asian today.
Yes, and we're getting Taiwanese. We were completely wrong on our last episode saying it was a Korean horror. It is indeed a Taiwanese horror, and we're sorry for the mix-up.
Yeah, big time. We said Korean a couple times, so we do love Korean horror movies.
We do. Well, to be fair, we love all Asian horror movies, Japanese horror movies, Korean horror movies, and now Taiwanese horror movies.
Yeah, absolutely. This was this came out last year, 2022. You know, now we are in 2023.
Yes.
With the banger lineup.
Yes, we are.
With the banger lineup on YouTube now.
Video.
Yeah.
It's what's in.
Yeah, it's what's in. We also took an approach this year different. We've just carved up, maybe besides February, there's an entirely good lineup for the first half of 2023.
Yes. We're pretty much only doing good movies, I think, on our list. So that's a change up from what we've been doing.
Except for Fucked Up February, which we are still doing.
Yes, Fucked Up February 2 coming up where we got 4 great ones.
Yes, 4 fucked up, disturbing movies that we're ready to regale to the best of our abilities.
A little teaser, actually. One of the movies we're reviewing in Fucked Up February, the director had just passed away like last week.
Really interesting.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. I saw it trending on Twitter.
I must be the one. I'm okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
It is. It is.
But yeah, no. Today we're talking incantations.
Yes, incantation. We're talking about blessings. We're talking about symbols.
Rituals.
We're talking about the Mother Buddha. And before I get into the Mother Buddha, it kind of reminded me of, like, you went to college, right?
Yes.
And those people that used to walk around.
The Mother of God people?
Yes.
That's what it reminded you of?
Yes.
Yeah.
Kind of like, because, like, Buddha's a dude. They're used, everyone's got
Mother
Jesus.
Buddha.
And then they used to talk about, like, the mother version of Jesus or something like that.
Yeah, where they, like, took a couple of verses from the Bible and made it Mother.
Yep. And I'm like, all right, so this is kind of like what's going on here.
Yeah. They took a couple of Buddhas and made him a Mother Buddha.
Yes.
Yeah, no, this movie has an interesting twist.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes.
Twist in these Asian horror movies, man.
This movie
I liked it though.
Me too. This movie's awesome.
It's
a
little all over the place.
But that was going to be my thing, and it's what I said to you before we recorded. It's confusing. Like, it's not confusing in what's happening. It's like when it happened, or like the order of things,
or the order of things. Yeah, there's a few different timelines in this movie that's going. It's really one from the perspective of one lady's experience,
Ronan.
But yeah, Ronan in 2 different time periods. Though it's almost like present, and then like as she's like getting to the present.
Yes. Because they do say, like, at the very beginning, like, this is, like, 6 months ago. No, 6 years. 6 years ago? Right?
Yeah, it was 6 years ago that the incident happened that you learn about at the very end of the movie. Because that's, like, the whole build-up. You're like, what the fuck happened?
Yo, and that whole scene is awesome. Like,
yeah, it was.
But, yeah, sometimes, like, I just don't know the order of things. But, like I said, I really enjoyed it. And I guess we're ready to talk about it, right?
Yeah, let's jump in because we have a lot to say.
We do. So let's jump into the Spooky Pit.
All right, Incantation, released in 2022. Li Ronan is under the influence of a curse after she had broken a forbidden religious rule. Now her daughter is paying for her actions. The film is directed by Kevin Cohen. It stars Hussein Yan Tsai as Li Ronan, Sin Ting Huang as Dodo, Ying Husuan Ko as Hisi Chin Ming, and that's good enough for me.
I mean, you did better than I would have done trying to pronounce those names. If I'm being real.
I went for it.
Yeah, I respect it. You got to. Yes. So this movie is going to open up with Ronan basically talking to the audience about blessings and to remember a symbol and like to remember these words and like kind of chant them in your head. I actually really like that touch to it, where like Ronan's almost like talking to us, the viewer, about it.
She talks to the audience directly, breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah,
as they call it in showbiz.
yeah.
No,
I like that touch though.
I do like that a lot. Movie has an interesting. The way that goes is interesting. We said it's two different timelines. She does break a religious rule or a ritual essentially. So basically, the whole movie is this happened 6 years ago, and it's the bad things that happened to her down the path of those 6 years, primarily with her daughter. It affects her daughter.
Yeah. But then it's just like other bad things happening. Like she shows like there was like a couple that got hit by a truck, right?
Yeah. So essentially, what happens is the more that you get deeper involved with the curse, or the ritual, whatever, the more deeper you go down that rabbit hole, the more you get affected by it.
Right. And that makes sense because one of the scenes they show is like her reporting the incident to the police and both police officers shooting themselves.
Yeah, that was sick.
Yeah.
Because I saw like the video. She shows them like a video camera. The movie, like her and these two guys, they videotape stuff. They're like little investigators.
The second anyone finds out about this, they get cursed because later on in the movie, a woman that had helped her get her daughter back, we see her swallow glass, like the torch blowing glass scene, which was some Final Destination shit.
It was sick.
Like,
yeah, this movie is sick. It's creepy.
It was gorier than I was expecting going into it. I mean, it's not like a blood fest, but there was actually more blood than I was expecting in like a supernatural kind of.
Supernatural. It's also found footage too.
Yeah,
that's like the elements of found footage because they're like semi-filmmakers, I guess.
Yes. So I guess, how do you want to break this up? Because maybe it'd be easier if we talk about the past first, the 6 months ago with the ghost hunters. Then we'll talk about what happens when she adopts her daughter back, and then we'll go into the contents of the video to end it. I think that'd probably be the best way to do this. Otherwise, I think we'll even get a little confused.
Yeah. Well, I should start by saying this movie has somewhat of a prologue.
Yes, it does.
But I understand why they're going the route that they did with the prologue. So they basically she's talking to you as if you're the audience, and she's like, basically what they're going to say is like, what this is like if you follow a Ferris wheel.
Yeah.
You can interpret it
as going one way or the other.
Going one way or going the other. And the same thing with a train. If you look at it a certain way, you can look at it going left or right. You can interpret it both ways, but she's like, what if an external party outside yourself was controlling which way it goes? Which makes sense at the end of the movie, because the way that this curse works is almost as if like someone or this external force shifts the intention.
Yes. It's almost like back in the day. Is the dress blue? Is the dress gold? Who knows?
Oh, my God. That was so 2010s of you. Holy shit.
But it is what I don't know why that's where my mind went, but it kind of it's like your mind can interpret something a specific way.
But what if, I love what she said, because the intention's always the same, but in this case, what if someone's moving the intention?
I know. It's so good. Like, just her narrating is
really cool.
Yeah. Which, by the way, did you watch this movie in English or its original language with subtitles?
I always go original language and subtitles just from my anime watching.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's I think it's the way the movie's meant to be watched.
I can't watch the dubbed over, dude. I can't watch people speaking and not connecting with
the actual, mouth. I agree. I completely agree. All right, so the ghost hunters, right?
The Ghostbusters.
They are the Ghostbusters.
I think they're the Ghostbusters. I'm pretty sure they're the Ghostbusters.
Okay. They actually are. Yeah, they're the Ghostbusters. So the Ghostbusters, it's Ronan, Dom, and Yuan. And they're going to find the Mother Buddha, and they're going to find a specific tunnel that if you go into the tunnel, you get cursed.
Yeah. It's the Forbidden Tunnel.
The Forbidden Tunnel. Which, I don't want to stereotype, but I feel like Asian culture has a lot of these forbidden, like the Forbidden Forest or like a Forbidden Tunnel. It's
like
So it's like just kind of don't go do those things because it kind of always seems like it is cursed.
Yeah, that's true.
So as they're making their way
downtown,
they run over a Mother Buddha statue and their tire is cooked.
It's fried.
Yes. Then they make their way into the village because they're rescued by what are the
It's a relative of someone they're with.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, it's a relative of one of the guys there.
But he's part of the... I don't want to call him a cult, but...
They're like a sect.
A sect. Because they're not bad people. They're like containing it. So I don't want to call them a cult, right? Because
they're definitely... Their intentions are actually pretty noble.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't want to call them a cult.
But they're fucking really creepy when you don't know what their intentions are. So for now, we're going to call them a cult.
Okay.
That's what they feel like.
That's the vibe they give off of.
Very dark, very creepy. They have a lot of Mother Buddha statues everywhere. And they're weird and they move. And this movie's super supernatural.
Yeah. It's like one of those things. They do bad things. But ultimately, it is for like the greater good.
It's for the greater good.
Yeah. So they get brought into the cult compound.
Cult compound. And Ronan is just like low-key pregnant.
Yes.
She's like low-key preggers.
Like she didn't know, right? Until they announced it?
She didn't know. She suspected it because she was like sick on the way out there.
Yeah. Because then like there's a part where they're like doing a ritual, and they're like, "Yeah, your unborn child," and they point at it.
It'll be the next offering.
Yeah,
they literally say that,
and that's like, oh, that's and Yuan is such a dick for the majority of this. He's like, "You two are so in love."
I think Yuan is the boyfriend, right? One of them's the boyfriend.
Dom's the boyfriend because Yuan's the cameraman who keeps calling them lovey-dovey.
But isn't one of them related to somebody in the compound?
Okay, and that's what I didn't understand because someone calls them great grandma or something like or granddad.
I think it's one of Yuan's relatives.
Okay,
or no, Dom. It's the boyfriend. I think one of his relatives.
Okay,
I think so.
So like, I guess he didn't know too much about it other than it's a secret tunnel because they like see some weird stuff. Like they see a young girl there. Probably like 10 to 12, and she's got incantations written all over her body.
All over her face.
And that's weird. They have to like write their names on a piece of paper, right? And they have to then forget their name. They no longer have a name. And the thing was, it's like you can't speak the name, but you also can't think the name. And I'm like, that's kind of tough to never think difficult. Of your name again.
Sure. It's tough, but I mean, like, it's for the greater good.
Yeah, it's always for the greater
It's all
good.
communal. They're all down for it, and they have such great pageantry. You're gonna see in a little bit.
Oh my god! Like
it's like some shit out of like a Studio Ghibli movie. Some of the shit that they're doing.
Oh my god!
Number one, they don't want her there because she's an outsider.
Yes.
So that's like a whole thing.
Yes.
Before she gets there, she does get there, but like
okay,
they never want her. They don't want them filming, and they keep filming.
Yes, that's right.
They're like looking in on what's going on.
Yes.
And they're all like huddled around. In robes, looking super sus,
looking like a cult.
The only person they have direct eye vision of is a culty girl, little culty girl with the incantation writing, and she sees them, so she walks on over. They're trying to hide, they're doing a very bad job, and then she basically takes them to. It's like another house, right?
Yes. One thing we should point out is they snuck out of their room at this point.
Yeah, because they're not
supposed to be out and about. Yeah. But yeah, she does bring them to another room.
And this room is interesting because there's a nice mural on the ceiling.
Yes. And
I don't know what this is because there's weird looking like baby things and like
goats.
Maybe some mandalas and goats and all this stuff. And then like in the middle of what's supposed to be someone's face, there's like this big...
black spot.
Inky black spot that's just seeping down to the floor. And then she's like, hey, you guys, you want to see something sweet? And pulls out this box with more sleeky black stuff. And then she's like, take your hair and throw it in the box.
And they do.
They throw it in the box, and it's just gulped down, and the box is moving. Like, what the fuck's in the box? It's a bunch of fucking toads.
Yeah, so apparently black goo feeds on hair to become frogs.
Yes, so it's black goo plus human hair
equals
toad.
Strange.
Yeah.
Very strange. Then that's when they like sneak off again and they make their way up to the tunnel. They have to hide because they hear people coming.
Yes.
And then like Ronan starts getting really sick the whole walk up. She's like throwing up, she's vomiting. And they're like, we should turn back. We should turn back. We should turn back. Eventually, they get to the tunnel.
Do they sound the alarm?
I don't think they do yet.
Okay,
right?
because they do know that they're out,
missing, 'cause they're looking
they
for
do
them, right?
check, and then they know that they're missing, and that's when they literally sound off
You're
an
right.
alarm.
Okay, so this probably is where they do it. Because once they get to the tunnel, they're like, I think it's Ronan's like, we should just leave. Let's not go in there.
Yeah.
Until they start hearing like a child cry. I know that the two of them go in because the two of them are the two that get like, they look through everything in the tunnel, right? While she's on the outside laying on the stones. And doesn't the girl come up to her when she's outside laying on the stairs while they're in the tunnel? Yuan only comes out of the tunnel and he's running. He's like, don't ask me what's in there. Don't ask me what's in there.
Yes, he goes running. I remember also like people just start fucking getting flown.
Yes, that does happen.
And then well, she starts bleeding.
Yes.
Down her leg, it's probably the baby. It's just she's bleeding like crazy.
Yeah.
And then I remember there's a fire.
There's a man on fire.
There's
right?
a legit man on fire, which I actually thought was one of the kids.
See, that's what I thought too. I thought it was Yuan at first.
It can't be.
It can't be because he comes back up.
That's why I was so confused when I watched the end of this movie because I thought one of them was on fire. Yeah. And I thought they were getting burned by the
people.
cult mob,
Yeah, but
it's not one of them.
Because Yuan shows back up and his teeth, he just has teeth falling out of his mouth. I don't even know if it's his teeth or just excessive teeth falling out of his mouth.
Yeah, no, it's probably his teeth. He's got teeth falling out, which is another symptom of the curse.
Yes.
Like that happens like later on.
And then he actually just eventually flies out of nowhere into the ground and dies.
Yeah.
She then escapes, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she escapes.
And we have no clue what happened to Dom.
Nope.
But she does have the video camera. And the whole point of this movie now is like kind of the build up to what happened in there with the video camera.
Yeah, because she's going to go back in.
Yes. So now we could cut to, I guess, the present time. It's 6 years later, and she's readopting her daughter who she had given up. Well, forcefully, I guess, given up.
So, like, there's this, like, whole backstory of her, being sick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really where they leave you. Like, that she was just sick and lost custody of her kid.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all they give you information about that. She's now is reintegrated and has her kid back.
So from what I took it as, which I think is what it was, is that she experienced such trauma from losing her two friends. Like the doctors felt she was unfit to raise her child.
Yeah, I mean, like she saw some shit. So
Yeah.
she was probably acting very strange, obviously, because she was probably impacted by the curse. She was probably unfit.
Yeah.
We do know later on that someone reported her.
Yes, that's right. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay.
So that makes even more sense, though, because it's like you think it's like something that's so gradual, but someone saw it and actively reported her. And I'll just mention who it is. It's her teacher who works with her every day.
Yeah.
Reported the mother.
Yes. And that was the issue there. So we'll learn anyone now that comes into contact with Ronan pretty much dies in a very horrific death. It's part of the curse, as you said.
And she says that in the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. Because there's a scene later on. I know we're jumping around here.
The movie jumps around.
Yeah.
Dude.
So there's a scene later towards the end of the movie where Ming, which is the teacher, and Ronan are riding in a car with the daughter, and they're trying to bring her back. And on the radio broadcast, it mentions a doctor committing blowing up in the hospital.
Yeah.
That's the woman she was on the video call with, right?
Yep.
I see that little one. That's
cool.
like you can miss that one, but
yeah, no, it's literally like anybody that has somewhat
contact with
her
is killed
horribly.
Yeah.
It's a horrible curse. It really is what it is.
Yeah. It's a horrible night for a curse.
Oh God, nice.
Yeah, like she has to live that like Ali Larder Final Destination 2 life where you just hide in a padded room.
Just in a fucking padded room and a straight jacket on.
Yeah, like because anyone who you just have to have interaction with her. Like that old woman who just helps her get her daughter at the beginning barely spoke to her. Yeah, and she's sucking on hot glass.
That was brutal. In just the back of a classroom. Yeah, so Why would she even want to get her daughter back at this point? She would have to know. But yeah,
She even questions it later on. She's like, did I make the wrong choice?
100%.
Which she did, because her daughter probably would have been safe if she never went back into her life.
And and at some point, like if you're a parent and you see your kid is this sick, you're just like, I want a new kid.
Yeah.
Like, can I get a return on this investment?
Especially since this kid eventually starts decaying.
This is literally just a decaying child. How old do you think this girl's? Like 6?
I was going to say
5?
she's like
It's gotta be
6
older.
to 8.
She gotta be. Yeah,
I think
she gotta
like
be older
6
than
to 8
6,
would be my guess. Because she's in school.
She loves to look up at the ceiling.
Well, oh, I think they say she's in kindergarten.
Okay, so
5 or 6, I think, right? You're in
but she would
kindergarten?
have to be older. Nah, because she's gonna give birth to the child.
So wait, no, she would be 6
It has to be the same time,
because
right?
it says 6 years later, and she was pregnant.
She's pregnant during the.
Yeah, so she'd be 6. The first night with her daughter being back is actually very creepy. We always say things don't like scare us anymore because we've seen so much.
Yeah.
But there's still something about a small child
Looking up at the ceiling.
and just seeing something that
It's
you
creepy
can't see.
because she's like, Mom. The scene where she's like, Mom, like
The baddies.
like the baddies are up there. She calls them the baddies.
Yeah.
And she like lifts her arm up to like, she's like, you're touching it. You're touching it.
it's terrifying.
And she's like moving her arm back. She's like swinging it.
It's like, it's just creepy. You like,
Especially when you see what it looks like through the video camera with those long, slender, creepy arms.
I know.
The baddies.
That's right. That's right. They take photo and you actually see like the arm.
Yeah, 'cause she doesn't see it until like she sees it back on like replayed footage.
Yeah, well, that's an ongoing thing because we're going to do another movie soon that does that. You can only see ghosts through photographs.
Like Shutter?
Yeah. Well, I was even going to say The Conjuring, where they take
Yeah.
the photos and
Yeah.
you can see.
Or Fatal Frame.
Yes,
Yeah. No, it's a cool concept.
it is.
I feel like it's an Asian concept.
Well, because we named 3 things that are Asian in this movie: Shutter and Fatal Frame.
But that's their idea.
It is, and it's great. Like
Good
even
idea.
like kind of like mirrors.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, true.
You always see it in like a reflection almost.
Yeah.
So it's eerie though, because like also like the toilet starts flushing on its own.
Yeah.
There's just
creepy happenings that
Yeah.
that the curse is coming for that house.
well,
For everyone
the
in
freaking
house.
giant cockroach that flies through the window.
Yes.
That's another thing we even mentioned. There's a lot of caterpillars.
The bugs are everywhere. Those
Yeah.
white little bugs, they're
Yes.
literally everywhere.
Yes. So they were a big part of the actual cult, like those bugs. And you'll like slowly see them like in the background in this. And I love that the symbol follows them. Like
Yeah.
the daughter made the symbol out of like her toys and stuff like that. So it's like this presence is always latching onto them.
It's like insignia.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's gonna, try to integrate the daughter into society, like bring her to school, ask her if she likes bread. Like
She's a shell, dude.
yeah,
She ain't having it. She just wants to decay.
yeah.
That's all she's good for.
Well, that's why the one scene, like they take the daughter goes to school and then the daughter leaves and goes up onto like a balcony.
Yeah, she's literally. I thought she just jumped. Right?
Yeah,
She just hops the balcony.
I'm like because I was like, wait, the spirit I thought needed her alive.
Yeah. It hops the balcony, comes back with a knife.
Yeah.
Like, where was that knife?
I don't know. Why was there a knife below that balcony? And then she goes, why is there a Buddha room?
I don't know. Yeah, there's a Buddha room there.
Yeah. And she starts watching like the video,
The
right?
only thing I guess those Buddhas are creepy, especially like they all fucking turn
Yes.
with the cult. So creepy that scene. Little Buddha sculptures. Unless she's like trying to like constantly repeat the saying with the Buddhas, like the cult was doing, to try to make it disperse.
Yeah, I don't know. But doesn't the daughter becomes like paralyzed almost from like this whole
Yeah, she gets her body like starts shutting down.
Yes. Which when she brings her to an actual doctor, the doctors kind of like start blaming Ronan for all of it, which to be fair, I guess would make sense.
What was in that tunnel that could possibly start this curse?
I don't know.
What you're thinking about?
Yeah, because that's what I was like the whole time. I'm like, Man, I do hope they show the tunnel.
You know what the thing was, like, I'll be honest, like, this movie had so much going on that there were times where, like, I thought I might have even seen what already caused it.
Right.
Like, I don't know if you got that too. I'm like, maybe just by disobeying the rules with the ritual and like just being there. Is that what started the curse?
Yeah, well, because
like I was like constantly like looking for that, but I thought it may have happened already.
Yeah. Well, that's why at a point I was like, maybe it was just actually them disturbing the tunnel.
Yes.
Like maybe
exactly just going in the tunnel.
The tunnel is just what did it. Then when you find out it's actually this one specific action that Dom does, which caused everything. It's wild. Yeah. So once like this happens with the daughter, the court actually wants the daughter back again.
Yeah.
And this is when
she doesn't love the idea.
No, but this is when Ming finally he's like, I made a mistake once. This time I'm gonna help and we're gonna fix it. So
because they're coming for the house. They're coming to their house.
They are. So Ming says, get in the car, and they drive off. And then in if you listen to our Minutes to Midnight episode, in a scene very reminiscent of that, except this one was done intentionally, they start driving to the ritual, but the same shot repeats when they're going down the road. Yeah. It's a bicycle. It's a yellow thing on the side. Except this time, it's supposed to be happening because they just keep going in a loop. Apparently, I guess this is supposed to symbolize they're not meant to find, like, the cult again.
Yep, I think so.
So it almost makes me think, even though they didn't want them there because they were outsiders the first time, they wanted Ronan there.
There, yeah.
Because she was pregnant with... And that's scary in and of itself. That's a place that you could only find if they want you there.
Yeah. But that's what they said, the shifting intention.
Yeah.
So that's why like the whole looping in the beginning is really just super interesting. And if someone just like doesn't pay attention to that, it's just going to seem like a stupid idea for a movie, but it's a good idea. Especially because they're like literally speaking to the audience. They like made that intentional right from the get.
Yeah. That whole scene is this, like, basically explain to you what, like, is not happening as a whole, but, like, what is...
This is a movie that will make you think.
Yes.
You will forget, and then you'll remember, and then you'll think, and then you'll question, but you'll go through all of those ranges of emotions.
And they also almost make it seem like you're cursing yourself.
You're cursing yourself. You're basically going to be doing your own incantation. I tried to do an incantation at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah. How'd that go for you?
Bad.
Yeah. So once they like find out they can't make it there, Ming starts to go through the videotapes. He starts to watch what's in the tunnel. He sees what's in the tunnel. He doesn't show us, and he's fucked, dude. He tells Ronan, he's like, don't watch.
He looks like he's been on a bender.
Yes.
But it's a curse bender.
Yes. His teeth are falling out.
His teeth, yeah, that's the big thing. He starts plucking out teeth.
Yeah. Eventually, he's like, yeah, I'm not sending this to you. But then the intention is he has to. So he takes his face and smashes the send button with his face repeatedly.
Yeah. Big time face smasher.
Kills himself. But, like, he keeps going hard.
Yeah, he gets harder and harder.
And until eventually he's dead. And then Ronan gets a bunch of texts from him.
A lot of text messages.
And it's all the videos.
And I'm like, who the fuck would be sending me this many text messages?
Yes, I would be so upset.
I'd be so pissed.
Yeah.
Just getting like 10 straight texts from the same person.
You could have probably put this in at least 3 minimum.
Yeah. Jeez.
So Ronan is going to, before she looks at the video, she's going to check on
her decaying daughter.
This is where she's full on decay. One, she pukes up a caterpillar.
Correct. There's a scene where somebody dies and there's all that's left is a caterpillar.
Is that the doctor?
And it's a while back. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, no, that's right. So when this is in between Ming dying and she went to that shady back alley doctor.
The plague doctor.
The plague doctor, pretty much, yeah. And she went to him to treat Dodo because she can't go to a real hospital because they're after her.
But she took her. So basically the treatment was like, you got to stay here and literally leave the kid here for like 7 whole days without eating.
Yeah.
And she's like, I think she went like one day and then took the kid back.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not doing this plague shit.
Yeah. And then when she went back to them, the doctor was dead on the ground, and the wife was like carving her neck out.
Yeah, it's fucking gruesome.
Her jump scare, head twist around, earned jump scare because there hasn't been many in this movie. And then she does disintegrate into a caterpillar.
What I do love about this movie is like throughout all of these scenes, they just like will just like straight up flash the insignia a bunch of times and the chanting. I'm like, dude, I'm in this movie.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
I think the intention is to make you feel like you're by association becoming part of the curse. And I really like that.
At the end, it'll make sense at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Which, okay, so we kind of can get to now because that's when she puts on the video and we finally see them go into the tunnel. And it's your typical tunnel. Dank, dark, bugs.
A straight tunnel.
Yeah. Just...
Probably leaves.
Yeah.
Crusty leaves.
And then you start to get things that you don't typically see in tunnels. Mirrors. An altar with hair.
Yeah, big hair thing.
An altar with teeth.
Oh, the teeth altar. That's right.
There's a lot of that. And then eventually there's a big mirror. But they hear a kid like crying behind the big mirror. So they have to move it. And then behind that mirror is a giant statue with the face covered.
This is some like Persona Shin Megami Tensei shit.
Yeah. They Dom goes up to it, and this is when Yuan's like, "Let's leave." Now Yuan is like, "Nope, you know what? I'm out. We're good. We're probably cursed already. Let's go home."
But yeah, it just lifts the curtain, it's a veil, lifts
Yeah.
the veil. Not what I expected to see behind there.
No.
The Mother Buddha? The face of the Mother Buddha?
I did not expect to see...
How do you describe this?
It's a giant hole.
Because I can describe it in many different ways.
You do it then.
Just a mouth.
Yeah.
It's just a gaping abyss of a mouth.
But it's got multiple holes inside of it.
It's like... is that supposed to be symbolizing, like, teeth? Or no?
Missing teeth, maybe?
Missing teeth? Maybe.
Because it is holes. It's actually just like circular
legit holes.
If you're like, what is that called? Like a trypophobe or something like that? Where you're scared of like multiple holes next to each other?
Yeah.
This scene ain't for you.
Oh, that's what people are saying. I was reading that in the reviews too.
Yeah. No, it like, it's not like a fear I have, but I'll even admit that shit was gross looking. Like,
yeah, it was sick. Not what I expected at all.
No. And then Dom does like the rational thing and starts downing hair. Just shoveling hair into his mouth.
He can't even fit it all in his mouth. There's so much hair. It's like you ever pluck up like fucking just a chunk of grass and you see all that dirt.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like it's in his mouth.
Agreed. It's disgusting.
Some mandrake shit.
Yeah. Yuan is just trying to get himself and Dom out of there, but Dom is just too busy shoveling hair into his mouth during this.
So much hair in his mouth.
Until eventually Dom just starts slamming his head into the wall.
Yeah. That's a theme too. Bashing heads.
Yeah. Well, it's...
You just kind of lose control every once in a while.
Yeah.
Man.
Now, that's not the end, though.
No, it's not. She's still talking to the camera. She's talking to the audience.
Yeah.
Basically, now that we know that what's happened.
And we learned how selfish she is because she admits she's doing this video to lessen the curse on her daughter by putting the curse on everyone who watches.
Yeah. So, like, that's the thing that they are, they're released by that. Like, the answer's like, she's trying to show the video selfishly so everybody can see this. So, basically, the more people that see this visibly, it will help lift the curse off of her daughter, which it does.
Yes. But what movie does this ending remind you of?
Oh God, what am I missing?
Truth or Dare.
Oh yeah.
Where they have to play Truth or Dare with the video at the end. And I'm like, wow. So the ending in Truth or Dare could have been done well if it was in a better movie.
This was like done well. You're right. It is like that because it's like now like they released the video so like everybody
has to. This is what happens
because of Lucy Hale.
Yes, this is what happens when you have a good movie that does this ending.
It says so much more subtle and better.
Yes,
you know what I mean, it's subtle and better, but also the cults now. Basically, the whole theory about the cult is they are dealing with it themselves. They're all cursed to some degree, and they're like owning their part in it to try to help mitigate.
Well, the thing is, you don't succumb to the curse if you forget your name. That's why you write your name down. And I think the cult has mastered the art of just forgetting who you are. Yeah. And that's why they're able to survive.
Like meditating and all that stuff. So, yeah, absolutely.
Which is the thing, because I don't think Dom slams his head into the wall until Yuan calls him by his full name.
Remembers it?
Yep.
Yeah. That's a good call out. But I think that's super cool. And I think that the reason why they didn't want outsiders in there is just because
they would spread it.
Exactly.
Yes. So
because you don't know if that person would stay or go or So it was like may seem like an asshole move by these group of people, but they were just trying to not spread it.
Exactly.
Maintain, mitigate, and help.
So Ronan does go back now to end the movie.
Yeah.
And she crawls through the tunnel. And
do you think that was an insignia of rope in the tunnel?
What do you mean?
There's like a multicolored
ropes, right?
Ropes, and I think it's the insignia. I could be wrong, though.
No, you're probably right. To be honest, it's probably just something I didn't catch on to. There's a lot of background stuff in this movie. This is a movie I definitely want to watch again.
Yeah,
because I want to see if I catch more. But what I like about the scene is she thinks she has a plan where she blindfolds herself because she thinks if she doesn't see it, right? That was what I was thinking.
Yeah,
she unmasks the Buddha. This is when we actually do see the gaping mouth go inside of it, and then we just see her kneel at the altar and bash her head into the altar.
Yeah,
and
she's fucking cooked.
Yes,
she's fucking destroyed. Do you think there are parts of this movie I don't know, this movie there's so much stuff going on. I feel like there were some lulls towards the back end of the movie a little bit. Not that it was bad. I just feel like the beginning to middle was so good, and then after.
It takes a brief...
You get more towards the saving the daughter route.
Yeah, it takes a brief dip and then comes back up when they show the video in this. I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's not like a long movie, but it is for a horror movie. It's an hour 50-something minutes.
It's good, though. And in a movie where there's just so much going on and so much action, Shane, question for you.
Yes.
You ever wake up in the morning and wish you were a Virgo? Gosh, you wish you were a Virgo?
No. Actually, I quite enjoy being a Gemini.
You're on the cusp, no?
Yeah, I'm right on the cusp.
What's the other thing you're on the cusp? Taurus?
I think it's Taurus.
Yeah, I think it is too.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I enjoy being a Gemini. It's nice. I never really want to be a Virgo.
Did you ever play Jet Force Gemini for N64?
I own it. I've played it. I got all the way to the part where you then had to go backtracking to collect all those little animal things.
Sure.
And I never did that.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's my Jet Force Gemini talk for the day.
Good talk.
Good talk. And that's Incantation.
That's Incantation.
Great Taiwanese horror movie.
Yeah, a movie that definitely had an incantation.
It definitely did.
I tried singing it. It's horrible.
Oh, mo gui gui fi di zao.
That's much better than
that was also the Jackie Chan Adventures.
Okay, but it was also much better than what I did.
Thank you.
Because that's kind of the droning throughout this whole movie.
Yeah.
The music's really good.
Oh, sound design in this movie is fantastic.
Phenomenal.
It's so good. All right. Well, I mean, I guess you can kind of tell where I'm going with my review. I loved it.
Where are you going with your review?
Loved it. I thought it was... We'll start with the actual noises, just the background children laughing, things like that. You actually hear that kind of yell too at one point.
Yeah,
it's all very well done. It's probably I'm trying to think of our recent reviews. It's probably one of the tensest atmospheres we reviewed in a while.
It's tense with the whole movie.
Yeah, maybe it also helps that it's a movie I had never seen before, so I didn't know what I was getting into. I loved it. It's a movie that has good kills too, which is always a plus. And I don't know if I want to give it. It's tough because it is kind of all over the place at times. So I think I'm going to give it an 8 though.
Okay.
I really did like it. I was deciding between a 7 or an 8. I think I'm going to go 8 because I really do want to watch it again.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 8 is my.
So this is a movie like when I was watching, like I finished it, I'm like, it's like a 7.
Yeah.
But when you like sit and dwell on it, I'm like, this is so original. Like original concepts are just like, oh, so brilliant. I really wanted to watch it again. Like the replayability for me is very high.
Yes.
Like someone that watches, they may say like 1 is enough because they don't get it and they're not going to give it another shot, which is fair. But I'm absolutely intrigued. Like you said, the tension's a good word. The atmosphere, it's just so creepy. And like the shit you see in the background, there's like some weird like anime looking monster looking things in the background in that cult scene when they sound the alarm. Yep. I'm like, yo, what is fucking going on right now?
Where they're all standing there with like the scripture, the incantations written on them.
I'm like,
and
what is happening? Bizarre. I have this as an 8.
Yeah.
It was so good. I really enjoyed it. And I've seen so many like best of 2022 lists for horror, and this is on none of them, which is surprising. I haven't seen a list yet.
Really?
With this movie on said list.
Oh.
Which is fucking crazy to
from
me.
the horror movies I've watched, this is definitely a top 10 of the year. I don't even see how it wouldn't make a top 10.
Yeah. And I do know like last year, and I got to watch them all, apparently was a very good year for horror, 2022.
Oh, well, like Smile is very good.
Yeah. So I gotta watch the rest of the ones from last year. I watched X, Pearl, Barb.
See, I want to see Pearl. I still haven't seen Pearl.
I like X more, but a lot of people say they like Pearl more.
Okay.
I liked X more. I thought X was more of a traditional horror. Pearl was more of like I liked it, but it's really just from her perspective and going insane.
Okay.
But she does a really good job in it.
Yeah.
Like she has a scene where a fucking crazy scene. She does a really good job.
I'll have to check that out.
But yeah, 8.
All right.
I enjoyed it very much.
So I guess it's time for a little necro coin.
Yep. I could see you flipping it right into the candle.
Oh God, no, I can't do that.
All right,
so who are we deciding between?
Because
we have no shortage of death.
Okay, deaths. There's a lot of good deaths.
Yeah.
The woman eating glass
is top tier.
That was like fucking insane.
Yeah. Dom's inside the tunnel just because like it's like sets up like everything, and he also is him smashing his head into.
That's good too.
Ming smashing his head into the keyboard.
The main girl
smashing her head into the altar. Oh,
dude, there's like even like people in the beginning just getting hit by buses
and cars. The 2 cops killing themselves, like standing on the desk and
those cop kills are really. You just like see them look at the footage and then they just literally kill themselves.
It's wild, and it sets you up so well for what you're in store for.
Yeah, well, I definitely have the glass lady.
Yes.
So I don't know if you have one that you want to suggest.
It's got to be one of the main 3, Dom, Ronan, or Ming, but I want to say Ming is probably
Ming
my
is a good
favorite
one.
of those 3, so I'm going to say Ming as the other choice.
Yeah. He plays a pivotal part in the movie.
He does, and he's the one who gets the video sent out to her.
That's the.
All right, so we'll give Ming this side, and we'll give glass blowing lady that side.
Glass blowing.
I can't think
glass blower.
Whoop. That is Ming.
Yeah, Ming.
I can't think of glass blowing lady did have a name. I just couldn't remember it. Oh well, but Ming, you were the reason the daughter was taken away, and you wanted to be the reason the daughter was given back. You want your redemption arc. You wanted to be the father you can never be because your sperm didn't work. That's what you wanted. We didn't mention that, but that is a side plot.
Yeah.
Ming, you wanted to be there for her, and you wanted to help her. The problem is, there's a death curse.
Oh my God.
And You succumbed to it. Your teeth fell out, and you smashed that send button. You smashed that like button so hard.
So hard.
that
Avada Kedavra.
You broke your face on a keyboard, and for that, we're putting you in our Necronomicon. So, with all that done and out of the way, next week, we're going to a classic horror series. We are going to do Child's Play.
Ooh. Child's Play.
Which
Getting Chucky in the mix.
is honestly a series I want to go through, like at least a decent number of the movies. I want to at least do the first 4.
Oh, they're fun.
Yeah.
They're fun. The Child's Play is fun.
It is, because like I want to at least get to Bride of Chucky.
You usually just see as much Brad Dourif as you can possibly see.
I freaking love him. He is so great. You stupid bitch. So,
awesome.
With that said, we are the Final Podcast signing off, and we will see you next week in a back alley of New York buying a children's doll from a peddler, also a rapist.
Oh my God, that's right. Tune in every Monday for the Final Podcast. You know where to find us weekly on our website, www.thefinalpodcast.com. Also, Fridays for the Final Friday, where we review the absolute dog shit films in horror, action, drama, and apparently kids movies now. So we'll see you then.